Buongiorno. Hello, Eric.
Where's the gabagool, huh?
We don't
Where's
got
the
the
gabagool?
ghoul here. We got the macaroni and the cheese and the beendal.
You motherfucker.
this fucking guy.
Hey, gabagool over here.
You got the gabagool. You do seem like the kind of a gabagool guy. Always packing, you know?
Always packing my schmeats. You're right, Ty. We're gababooling in here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're a
Um,
bit of a gabagoofball.
exactamundo. um, Hi. Arrivederci. How's it going?
It's good. What are we? It's good, Eric. It's good. What are we gabbing about today? What's on the menu?
Well, the boys love to, just bool all day, but me and
We're booling,
but
we're pooling the sauce, we're pooling the words, pooling the ideas.
hmm
We're
but me and Ty, we're gabagooling in here, you know what I'm saying? The meats
mm-hmm,
are cured, the virus is cured.
mm-hmm.
There's not much else to discuss, really.
We're in the endemic now, baby.
This is, in fact, the endemic. Shouts out to our frontline workers who somewhat survived this tragedy that is the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
I
A
have
blessing for
terrible
some
news for
because,
you, Eric. I have terrible news for you.
oh God, what
I
happened
learned
now?
what endemic means. It doesn't mean the end of the pandemic. It doesn't mean the last bite of 12 inches of suffering.
Oh no, is it the, heartburn afterwards? Is it the fifth wave? What
It's
is it?
like the crippling disease that you're just forced to live with forever. Endemic means it never ends, not that it's ending.
Oh my God.
But so there's
Holy
many,
shit.
many diseases that are endemics. Think about polio, which we or like I don't know, the bird flu. They all still exist, but endemic basically means it's a problem for third world countries, not first world problem, you know?
Ty, as a resident, as a permanent resident of a first world country, I gotta say, to me, the definition has not changed for what I thought it was, because it sounds like it's not my problem anymore.
It's not your problem either way, I guess so.
So basically, the virus has ended in first world countries, which is, where we live. So, thank
Mm,
Big Gov for that, I guess.
yeah, shout out to Daddy Trudeau for this stellar ending.
hmm Be more grateful for the last bite of that sandwich. The end is
So
near,
this is it,
Ty.
Eric. This month is our last bite of COVID. Maybe then the warm summer days get longer, people get healthier,
hmm
the vitamin D starts preparing our bodies to fight off any type of flu, and suddenly it's over again.
That's true. Wow. Think about this, Ty. We started this podcast when, we had no idea what was to come. We were just in the beginning of this, and we thought like, wow, we like might actually die. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's possible that we die this year. Like that's crazy. And now
That
that,
is crazy.
now that this podcast has lasted longer than most of my relationships, I'm happy to report that we are alive and well. I'm boosted. You're, are you boosted, Ty?
I will be boosting myself this afternoon, actually.
Ty will be boofing the vaccine, and he will get 6G enabled.
Yeah, just a couple more inches of Moderna marinara in my veins should just get me through these last 2 cold months of winter.
Um, wow, Ty, now that you are, boosted with Moderna, or when you will be, what's the plan? Are you going to be um, taking off your mask? Are you going to be undressing?
Not any more than usual in a public scenario, but in true endemic fashion, I will get back to my regular routine of whining and dining and uh,
hmm
paying money to frontline workers for them to do things for me.
And when Ty says whining and dining, he's not talking about drinking wine. He means whining about the food that they brought.
Yeah. I'd
Oh.
Karen up the restaurant, no matter what the restaurant.
I can't wait to dine and then whine about it.
Fast would get
Oh,
15% off your bill, my guy. It's almost as
hmm.
easy as not tipping.
I know you seem like the kind of guy to like leave a good tip, but you also planted the hair in your rigatoni alla vodka.
Yeah, that's right. It's a plant. I love plant-based food.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Ty, I'm so what?
it has been a long, cold pandemic, and I'm just happy it's at the end. And you're right that this podcast has also gotten me through it, Eric. You have helped me get through it. I'm sure we have helped the breadheads get through it. You said this
Hmm.
lasted longer than any of your relationships, but think about the breadheads, Eric. They, some of them probably have never kissed a girl. You know, like we're the closest thing that they have to a relationship. We are
Hmm.
their girlfriends.
Yeah, Ty's divine feminine energy is, the closest thing that some of these breadheads will get to pussy.
It's true, like, my wait a minute. Yep.
Uh, Ty, we're grateful for you, Ty. The
Mhm.
breadheads are grateful. You know, I think we've taught our breadheads a lot about, what it means to be a man. You got to order 12 inches of sandwich. You got to order double meat or double veggie
Ooh.
patty.
But I think what I've learned is that being a man, divine masculine, is more than just how many inches you can stomach. It's more than what you eat, it's why you eat it and how you eat it, Eric.
Yeah,
It's about
and it's how you
intention.
order.
It's about how you
Hmm.
carry yourself through a room full of artists.
Exactly. When there are, beta artists in the room, how does the alpha customer stand out? And
Mhm.
you have to be that Ty, because you know, this podcast is all about toxic masculinity. Um, and we think the breadheads are right there with us.
Mhm.
And for any female, breadhead listeners, um, we know that you prefer this kind of guy. You want the bad
Eric
boy.
knows you.
We know you very well. We see your
Better
analytics.
than you know yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know that you prefer the
Top
bad boy who will get four sauces.
yeah. The definitely like top 3 most toxic things is the coronavirus, obviously, the tuna fish, obviously,
Hmm.
and any advice you've heard on this podcast. That kind
Exactly.
of rounds it out.
Yeah. Few things will do more damage than the Deltacron Dirty Sprite variant. Than but this podcast is up there for sure.
Mhm. Wow.
Speaking of doing damage, I've been eroding away my brain cells with all the TV that I've been watching lately. I just finished Too Hot to Handle. Ty, have you seen
Mm.
that show?
I've seen Too Hot 2 seasons, but I haven't seen the most recently released 3rd season.
Hmm. Exactly. I don't know if it's just, me getting smarter or the show getting dumber, but it just seems like this show is designed for 15-year-old girls, much like the white macadamia nut cookie.
Mhm.
It's very, very stupid and kind of messed up.
Yeah, so what do you find stupid about it? Is it
Um,
uh, the pans, the cuts?
it's the pans and the cuts, but it's also these are two kitchen terms that you just threw at me.
This is a kitchen podcast.
This is a kitchen cast, cast iron, if you will,
Wow. And
podcast iron.
pan fried cast iron.
Absolutely. Um, I don't know, Ty. I just feel like all the drama is manufactured. This is
Mm,
us intellectualizing a show for tween girls,
the tweenies.
tweenies. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there that I just finished that. Have you ever had a sandwich that you thought was too hot to handle, Ty?
Whoa. Well, I don't like them as hot as you, Eric.
That's true.
My sandwiches typically don't even rank on the Scoville system, but
Mm-hmm.
I've had a sandwich that's heat is not defined by its destruction to my taste buds, but its heat is defined by its ability to turn heads. My sandwiches turn heads, Eric. When people see what I create on the floor of that franchise, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's astounding. I'm channeling God himself through my fingers. These are
Mm-hmm.
God's hands.
Mm-hmm. God's plan for sure. Do you think you know how the show is basically centered around like, for those who don't know, it's like basically a bunch of hotties are stuck on an island or something together, and
Hmm.
like there's like a prize fund, but anytime anyone does anything sexual, like a kiss or like, anything more than that, money's deducted from the prize fund, right?
Hmm.
Do you think that there could be, a sandwich so good that you couldn't resist, and like every time you take a bite, it costs you like $500? Do you
uh,
think do you think that would exist, Ty? Do you think a game show could exist in this COVID reality we live in where there is like $100,000 on the line and you're starving, but there is a nice foot long that's baking in the sun, ready to be eaten, and every bite you take, $2,000 gets deducted from the prize fund or something like that?
damn.
Do you think this could work on HBO?
Oh, probably. Because like every time I walk in the subway, I've been hunger striking for a few hours because you lead up to that moment, right? You train your
Mm-hmm.
body. It's grueling and it's hard to fast, but it's worth it because your body is then like much like the stomach of an Olympic eater, you're prepared for like game day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Absolutely.
with that in mind, the idea of hunger striking before for money, that just seems like a natural progression to hunger striking for food.
Mm-hmm. Makes total sense to me.
It
Some
makes
people
total sense.
will,
No
a lot of
offense.
people will, a lot of people, are going to be saying how like, on Too Hot to Handle, you kind of have to go sell a bit, right? But on
Hmm.
our show, Too Fresh to Handle, you got to be sell a bite.
Sell a bite. Ow! You had that one
Oh,
locked and loaded, didn't you?
no, I actually zoned out while you were talking and I thought of it then.
That's fair. That's very clever. Yeah, that
Hmm.
shows a bit. It like definitely like puts the trashy and trash in trash TV. Hey, it is both
Absolutely.
trash and trashy.
Much like our podcast cover art, um, it's hot trash.
It really is. Shout out to our hot trash NFT, not for sale.
Strictly, by donation to the art gallery of the dark web.
Hmm. We only made it to show you breadheads, just to say
Yeah,
we did it.
exactly. Ty's got all this Ethereum and he doesn't know what to do with it. So he's been buying apes.
Hmm. Yeah,
Which
so many
monkey
apes.
smoking a cig did you buy?
It's so hard to choose, you know? Some of them have hats, some of them have facial hair. Those are two
I,
things I don't have, Eric.
I think they all have facial hair. Ty. They're primates.
Monkeys.
They're
That's a
monkeys,
good
bro.
point.
Monkeys don't
Damn.
what us stupid humans invented.
I think a nice
Being
NFT
bald.
project, Eric. A nice. Can you imagine the first human to invent being bald?
Imagine them
Damn.
inventing being bald. Do you think they did it on purpose?
Uh, I don't know. I just know that they crawled so that like the modern white man could run.
Hmm. All I know is that I like my, sandwiches that are completely hairless.
Well, you're not gonna like going for dinner with me, man. I'm planting hairs left, right, and center.
It's a plant-based diet. This guy's a
Believe it or
scammer.
not, I'm not afraid to stick it in someone else's food.
Yeah, well, I it at least. I have no problem eating, one of your hairs, Ty. It's all good.
It's win-win.
I knew eating plant-based was a scam, but this is just proof. Um,
I have an NFT idea for you that we could potentially pursue after this episode.
After this episode, okay, great. Now please continue.
Much like your Bored Ape Yacht Club, the where every single like attribute of the caricature is unique. You have different hats and different sunglasses, but they're all
See
kind
where
of
this is going.
combined to create unique things. There's no reason we couldn't make a bunch of different sandwiches as NFTs.
Hmm. I absolutely agree. And we could even get our food stylist friend from a previous
Yeah,
episode.
Anna Kevel Joyce, get her on the back on pod and help us put these together.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm thinking it has to be a real photo of a sandwich. That would make it really cool.
I mean, yeah, digital art is cool and everything, but what about a real photograph? Have you nerds to consider that?
Yeah, there's nothing
Hmm.
more like IRL in the metaverse than a piece of our old history, of reality.
Hmm. Exactly.
And maybe
Um,
that's what Too Hot to Handle, Eric. Too Hot to Handle is happening in a metaverse. It's happening
right.
in a closed society where the rules only exist to service the game. There's no relationship with the outside world. Is that a problem, or is that? I guess that's the ultimate goal of all digital worlds.
Huh. I mean, if you think about it, every TV show has no connection to reality, even though it might be based in reality. Like, for example, the Kardashians, like they are so incredibly in touch, but also incredibly out of touch at the same time. Like they live in their
Mm-hmm.
own bubble. You know what I mean? And same thing with
Mm-hmm.
Too Hot to Handle. It's just a bunch of hotties. Like the worst option you have on that show is still a 10.
It only
So
goes
I
up.
mean, yeah, it's like if you couldn't fuck up your sandwich. That's what it feels like. Imagine a world where
Wow.
you can't fuck up your sandwich.
A world with no bad choices.
Yeah. That's if the
I
sandwich
get I
artists
get what
did
you're
their
saying.
job. Like if the sandwich artists did their job, then Subway would be too hot to handle because you couldn't possibly fuck up. They wouldn't let you. They'd be
Bro,
like,
can
"No,
you
sir."
imagine if every time you walked out of a Subway, it was like straight tens, like nothing but tens every time you went in there, just every foot long,
Wow.
a 12-inch 10.
Wow. Imagine
Think
like,
about how well regarded Subway would be. It would be critically acclaimed.
mm-hmm. We do need a sandwich shop that only like hot people are allowed to eat at. Because like, then you'd walk in and you could even find like potential girlfriend or boyfriend.
Wow.
Wow.
I wasn't even thinking about the people. I was thinking about the quality of the foot long. But I guess we're both talking about the quality of the foot long.
We're
Ayo.
talking about the quality of our meats here. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for a 12 out of 12.
12 out of 12. I love that. Well, it
Um,
is crazy that you're right. Despite being reality TV, it is not reality. It's the metaverse on TV, the
the furthest thing
Fediverse.
from reality. The Fediverse, god damn
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, yeah, Ty. Speaking of shows, I've also been watching Ozark. Have you caught the new
Mm.
season of that?
I'm not familiar with even the plot of Ozark. Me and Ozark, we don't cross paths. We run in different circles. It's in the meat bin,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in the veggie section.
Mm-hmm. That's true. It's the bacon to your hype house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, basically, Ty, if I were to summarize the plot to you, basically this wealthy 1% family that moves to a shitty town or shitty neighborhood with a bunch of poor people.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because anyone listening to this is like, so it's this so wrong, but you have no idea.
Cool. Yeah, I believe you.
Ty believes me so far, everyone. Basically, it's like
Tell me the
rich.
tuna is real.
this rich white family moves into this poor redneck white family town, and decides to launder money in cartels.
Mm.
Or actually, that's why they moved there. And it got me thinking, Ty, could Subway potentially be a money laundering scheme?
Interesting.
How many locations, yet nobody likes the sandwiches there. And how
It's
are
the
they able to,
laundromat of food.
yeah, how are they able to order so many vegetables, but then they always have vegetables in stock?
Yeah, that could be it, Eric. It could be money laundering. They're funneling their lettuce into lettuce and then back into lettuce and then maybe into
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, you know how you might walk by like a shitty little store that's like old, but it's like got like, 10,000 square feet inside. You're like, how the
Mhm.
fuck does this place afford this real estate, right? How
Mhm.
come nobody questions Subway? Because you got Subway like standalone, detached buildings sometimes. Like, how does Subway? Hmm?
Yeah, it's a good question. And like those sandwiches, they're not $5 anymore, but they're still pretty affordable. So it must be hard to turn a profit, especially with quality ingredients like that. Shout out to Subway.
Yeah. Um, Ty, if Subway was laundering money, how would they do it?
Well, I'm not super familiar with how anybody launders money, but if I knew, I'd be doing it, Eric. It seems like a really good racket.
I
But
mean, I think crypto is probably a great way to launder some money. Um, but if I were to guess, Ty, and if I were to give you
mhm,
my, um, you know, book for dummies version, um, I basically think that what you have to do is like you over-report your like income because like you're getting income from like a third party, right?
right.
So okay, so say I own a Subway, right?
Yeah,
And
you
on the
do.
side, yeah, I own a fucking franchise,
What's the
buddy.
side,
Don't
Eric?
ever forget
Chips
it.
or cookies?
Both. But listen here, Ty. I got a Subway, right? And I'm trying to figure this out as I say it. But I'm thinking I also need to launder hella money because I got a legal side business, right? This is all
Right.
hypothetical, guys. This is not real for anyone listening to this podcast. I don't own a Subway, okay? Um, but say I have my illegal side business, right? And I own a Subway and I
Okay, you're like,
make
but I
like,
the legal side business, that's not hypothetical.
guys, I promise I do not own a Subway. And say I have like $1 million in drug money, hypothetically, and like somehow like make this money clean or I have to like launder it, right? So
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do is buy $1 million worth of lettuce, bought $1 million worth of lettuce. Wait, is that
Something like that. I get where your head's at, and then you just move that money into your Subway franchisee business account at the local credit union, and then
exactly?
no one's the wiser,
Oh
and then
no. Oh no, I say that I sold a million. I have cash in my business,
mhm,
right? But I really only sold like 1 foot long because it was a slow month, right? And
mhm.
basically now I have all this extra cash and I've over-reported the number of footlongs I made, and then all of that gets put into the system, and I can spend it on my employees. I can give you 200,000. I can give myself 800,000, etc. And there you go.
Yep, and that's how you get a Rolls Royce parked outside Subway.
Now I got Rolly. Now I got the Phantom parked outside Subway, and let me just tell you, the stars hit different in the ceiling once you've spent that shit on cash. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Bought that shit with
Well,
cash.
thank you for teaching us, Eric, how to launder money 101. There's
Mm-hmm.
a few holes in this strategy, though. I
Mm-hmm.
know you're not an
Allegedly.
expert, allegedly. Uh, first of all, I think the term you're looking for is you're trying to wash the money, but
Launder.
I don't think Subway washes anything. So I don't know if their like employees are equipped to handle large sums of cash.
Hmm. That's a great point. I think it only works when the employees don't have a clue,
Hmm.
and it's just you and the homie, you know?
I mean, and that does support this possibility because franchise owners are the ones keeping all these dirty secrets, and they're no stranger to keeping secrets. I have a feeling the franchise owners know a lot more about the food that we're eating than they're willing to tell us. Like
Absolutely.
they don't want
And
us
that's
to
why,
know that the meatball comes in a giant meat block and balls are carved out of it.
like craters. Um, but it's that's entirely possible, Ty. And I also think that's why they hire like college students or like, you know, work at Subway. It's their first job, but they're not really thinking critically about where the money's going, you know, because if I'm sure
Hmm.
if they added up like the, amount of money that came in a single day, they would be like, wait a second, there's no way we could even pay for this loan, uh, the rent on this building.
It does seem crazy that like you could sell 12 inches of sandwich for $7. That's under $1 an inch. That doesn't make any sense in this economy, but I digress.
Exactly.
They also like it's also I've noticed a common trend where your sandwich artist is often like it, oftentimes the English isn't the first language of your sandwich artist. They'll come from somewhere else in the world or be raised with a different language. So there's maybe like also a barrier of communication that so helps keep the money laundering secret from the franchise owners. Like the less communication happening behind that sneeze guard, the better for money laundering.
Hmm. You know what, Ty, we're part of the problem because we go to these places and we don't care that this is going on. We're just like, yeah, let me get the whatever.
Honestly, there's bigger crimes out there. Like I think this is on the pretty low on my list of
Hmm.
problems to solve if I was to
Hmm.
save the world.
You know what, Ty? Speaking of saving the world and problems to solve, did you notice now that pretty much everywhere you have to pay for disposable cups or like bags and things like that?
Yeah, it's because Vancouver is so liberally woke. They're charging us now 25 cents a paper cup.
Yeah, dude, they're so fucking conscious that they're fucking us. Can you believe it?
I The worst part is they don't really make. I As you know, I only like to drink coffee beverages that are 12 ounces or smaller. My ideal like fluid size is 8 ounces, but it's so hard to find a reusable thermos that comes in 8 ounces. All these like dumb brands like Yeti are making these giant ass thermoses for someone to put like a whole carton of ice cubes and their venti latte in.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's too much fluid. You're
Yeah,
gonna
you
give
don't
yourself
need.
a tummy ache at worst and a hernia or a hernia at worst and a tummy ache at best.
Hmm. And think about this, like one little 1 ounce espresso is probably gonna do the same thing as like a venti fucking whatever grande or Ariana Grande milkshake. Like
Hmm.
like that shit is not gonna do anything for you in terms of like caffeine intake.
Absolutely. It's actually probably weaker because it gets diluted so slowly. Your
Hmm.
body like intakes it slower and therefore doesn't feel the effects quite the same. They're really
Yeah,
nullifying the point of espresso.
yeah. I mean, I do fully agree with you. That's why I have my uh 12-ounce mug, which I used to carry to the office every day, every morning when I spent $4 a day on coffee.
Hmm. The
Um,
good old days.
the good old days, accurate days, I'd like to say on this podcast. But I haven't been doing that at all. It's been sitting in my shelf, and I've been making coffee every morning in my
Hmm.
penthouse suite.
Honestly, this is one of the biggest losses of the novel coronavirus is that I don't buy a fourth wave coffee every day, and I miss that. I miss that ritual. I I miss the banter with the barista that you'd always get to know
Hmm.
the barista, right?
Hmm.
And something about coffee shop baristas, I feel like more inclined to converse with than sandwich artists. I think that coffee baristas like at least I know that like there's like 100% guarantee that they like Tame Impala, so we have something in common when I walk in the door. And I can never have that with a sandwich artist. I don't know what sandwich artists like. I have no idea what their hobbies are outside of making my sandwich.
Hmm. Exactly. Like, I love the comfort of knowing that, like, even though they're wearing a Nirvana shirt, they can't name a single Nirvana song, and
Mhm.
that just makes me feel good when I buy a coffee from them.
Yeah. Like baristas are so easy to read. You walk in, you see their piercings, and you see their like novelty band tee, or maybe they're wearing like suspenders today. You could take a quick glimpse
Hmm.
of their sleeve tat or their hairstyle or their
Hmm.
craft brewery hat, and
Hmm.
it's pretty easy to make some assessments of their likes, dislikes, history, passions, love life, everything.
Absolutely. Like, my favorite is when I walk in and they're on their phone and they look at me and they look all pissed because they got to put down urbanoutfitters.com and, roll
Mm-hmm.
up their long sleeve underneath their short sleeve and help me
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mhm, exactly, and I'm used to that, though, I'm expecting that. You know what, Eric? I
Absolutely.
bet you if you put a barista and a sandwich artist side by side, I could take a guess of each of their favorite Subway sandwich, and I'd probably get closer with the barista than the one that makes the sandwiches.
I mean, yeah, you can't trust a sandwich artist because they're so just like well knowledge, like well versed in all of the different combinations. Like
Mhm,
they probably have some like secret fucking like panini, focaccia panini that you don't even know about. But the barista is gonna just order like the BMT or the ham or whatever.
mhm, it's fascinating. Uh, it is weird though that the sandwich artist is so funny because, like, my interpretation of the sandwich artist is that they have all this power, all this knowledge, but then no taste. So they're missing that aesthetics or that kind of intuition that could really make them special. It's almost like they're front end developers, really,
But you know what? I do think I respect sandwich artists more than baristas. You know why? I think
because
they're
they don't have to
more,
say the word oat milk as often.
that's a big part of it. And actually, you're really onto it because I was gonna say like sandwich artists, like they don't try to like scam you in any way. They just like tell
Mm,
you straight up, it's like this is a sandwich, right? Like, do you want this or this? And it's just whatever. Like who cares? You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
But if you go to a fucking barista like Haven, like Revolver, they're gonna try to like tell you that like the different beans taste different. It's like no one fucking knows the difference. Like we're all just
right.
like kind of like nodding, like 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 there's no fucking way you can tell the difference between these two beans, bro. They're made the same.
It's
Just
so
a
silly.
bean.
They'll be like, "We don't recommend this Nicaragua blend with classic cow milk.
Yeah.
If you're going dairy today, try this Ethiopian. It'll be a bit more cherry."
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't taste cherries like or prunes in this coffee, bro. Like it's a coffee.
Dude, they're putting every word on the coffee labels now. They'll be like,
Mhm.
"You can taste a little bit of champagne and maybe some underwear in here."
Yeah, you can taste my bullshit in this one.
Yeah. Damn.
Have you ever looked at like the tasting notes and been like, oh wow, that one sounds good, and then you get it, and then you like, do you even remember like what the taste notes were after you take your sip?
No, I don't remember much. Especially it's so easy to like stop thinking about what you're drinking when you're drinking coffee. You're just kind of like
Hmm.
on autopilot the minute it's in your hands.
Hmm. Yeah, thinking about what's in your cup is like a huge no-no. Like Lil Wayne said, is like don't worry about what's in my cup.
Yeah, that's right. He did say that.
Exactly.
Uh, in his case, it's probably goose though.
No, it's that walkie slush, bro. That
All right.
Wakiana. He said,
You have a good
don't worry
memory,
about what's
Eric.
in my cup." What's in that cup? What's in your
I
cup?
made mistake 101. I worried about what was in it immediately.
Exactly.
Piqued my
You literally
curiosity.
broke the rule. All you gotta know is that he's better than, having that walk. He's a better artist than without that walk. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I will say, Eric, that baristas are becoming more like my cafe experience is becoming closer and closer to my Subway experience. It's almost like there's a gravitational energy, a magnetism that pulls all restaurants or any food establishment to the Subway model. Example A, I walk in and I order my latte, 8 ounce or smaller, and they say this is a new question. This is the last like year or two question, right? They're always like they say one of two things. They either say what milk or is cow's milk okay?
Wow. That's
So
like
like
cheese and
this is
toasted.
they're cheese and toasting my freaking latte, right? Okay, that's problem
Hmm.
number one. So the questions are starting, and as like diets continue to diverge with like Zoomer appetites, that we will get more and more questions like that, and my cortado will be torn to pieces.
Hmm.
Part two is at the end of my order, they always ask if I'd like to have anything to eat with it. And I don't know when cafes started to become food establishments, but I like my espresso bar to be just that.
Exactly. This is a liquid breakfast podcast. We don't believe in eating before noon. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's just disappointing that I'm interrogated every time I just want a fucking espresso. Like, not only that, but they always ask me like, "Oh, do you want like room for cream?" It's like, do I look like I'm at a fucking diner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only mug you're putting that in is your face.
Hmm. I know, no, no, don't mean to mean mug you, but shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no cream in my mug.
Just, just make the coffee. Like, don't worry about me.
Another dairy question. Terrible, terrible. But the food one
Terrible.
really is crazy. Like I do like the occasional croissant with my cafe, but
Hmm.
oftentimes they're skipping the treat section. They're going straight to lunch. They'll be like, "Would you like to add a panini?" And it's not really an
Hmm.
add-on feature when it's like 3 or 4 times the size and cost, right? It's like
Hmm.
going to Subway for a cookie and they try to add on a footlong.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're UX designers. We know all about upselling when you're in the bag.
Yeah, they're dark
This
UX
is just the last
patterns.
this is a last second ditch effort to upsell you and make you pay twice as much, you know?
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
I
not
don't want
cool.
that. But so what I do appreciate, Eric, about Subway is that they distribute the upsells throughout the experience. So it doesn't feel like they're really like hammering you at the end, trying to get like every last dollar out of you. There's an upsell moment at the meats when you go for a premium or a signature sandwich. The guac, of course. Or sorry, they call it smashed avocado now. Uh, and then finally at the end with the
So
chips, cookies,
guacamole
drinks,
Thai,
meal.
Thai,
Yeah, the
I'm an
guacamole.
ally. I'm an ally, and guacamole is a racially charged term. Okay, we can't be appropriating the destruction of Mexican culture.
Well, Eric, I'm an empath, and I think that smashed avocado is mean to the plants. I think it's a hurtful term towards our avocado friends. Like
Thai,
no
when you smash,
vegetarian likes the term smashed avocado.
Thai, when you smash, it might be hurtful, but I mean, I'm a passionate kind of guy, and I'm gentle. So to me, smashed avocado just means I'm pleasure avocado.
You would rather have a gently caressed avocado. Gets
Mhm.
to the
Exactly.
same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'll even ask for my avocado on top, if you know what I'm talking about.
A like some nice aburiyoshi.
Exactly. Nice and torched.
Hmm. Well, speaking of torched, I think this episode is I think it's time to call it quits here.
Oh boy, so much for your hard stop 15 minutes ago, Ty. I hope you didn't have some other engagement.
I did, but duty calls, Eric.
That's right.
Passion
Um,
before profession.
absolutely, Ty. Just remember that, podcast is, you know, winning us some bread, and you are the
Mm,
breadwinner of your family. So, it's time to collect. Click and collect.
we're clicking and collecting. Damn.
Damn, son.
We be working in our own little metaverse here, clicking and collecting. We're
Mm-hmm.
mining. We're
Working on the
mining
weekend
the
like usual.
redhead's attention.
That's right. Okay, buddy. See you at the other side of the cash register.
Uh, don't go into the light. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, buddy. Bye.